Look, my name's Steve Fitzallen, the Senior Minister here at Door of Hope, and been on staff for a couple of decades. Dr. Andrew Fair, our Chairman of Elders, and also on staff here, and does a mighty job. Look, a church is run two ways, right? Technically and spiritually. And some of those of us have more advancement in technical matters in the life of a church. And I'm just so thankful for Dr. Andrew and people like Anne-Marie Harback and Troy Roberts and our Resource Ministries Board, who do a mighty, mighty job in behind the scenes. So thankful. And I tend to focus on the spiritual side of things and have to know a little bit about the technical side of things. But that's the way team works, doesn't it? You know, not one person knows everything, and that's the great thing about team. Hey, before I go any further, can I just acknowledge the new Door of Hope's ropes course? The team do a mighty job, and in fact they were practicing the rope. No, they weren't this week, but they do a mighty job, don't they? And look fantastic, these lights that are set up. Hey, we just want to take 15 minutes or so just of your time. As I said, this is going live and also on demand. If you've got family, friends, connect group and things like that who need to keep up to speed on 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 sort of things here this morning, we want to bring you up to speed with. Feel free to get them to download, go to our website and tap into this morning's service. Have to fast forward a little bit and come to this spot. But look, just very quickly, hey Andrew, this last 6 months for the world and Door of Hope has been very interesting. And, but the vision and mission continues to soldier on, doesn't it? And we've been here 17 years this year. We bought this site in 2001 with the idea of the church and the community doing life together, and that God and the power and the presence of His Holy Spirit brings about transformation through relationships and connections that we have. In the midst of all of that, we say that we are a door of hope through Jesus Christ in this fragile and uncertain world. How we achieve that is by going about our mission to be Jesus-centered, others-focused, together in community. And we just dream of this place being filled with not stuff, but people doing life together. The church, the community, and God's transformational power doing what none of us can do. And so I just love that about this place. But the vision continues, doesn't it, Andrew? And let's go to the Early Learning Centre first. Let's bring the church a little bit of an update about our new Early Learning Centre. And of course, many are financially, have been and still are financially invested into the centre.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. We're well on the way. We're actually at the point now where all the designs and approvals have been given, and the tender has been let, and we have a builder ready to start, and very excited about that. I saw the playscape design. It's absolutely amazing. So we're going to get some photos of that design and get it up in the foyer for you in the coming weeks. But very exciting, and we are hoping to commence construction in the next 2 or 3 weeks. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. So I just wanted to say, though, we'd value your prayers. You know, what we've found over the years here at Door of Hope is every time we're starting to do something really big, Steve, and this is big, we're going to see something like 120 families per year connecting with our Early Learning Centre and having their children there. That's an amazing opportunity to both serve our community and meet a very important need in the community, but also a fantastic opportunity to invite those children and those parents to continue on in their spiritual growth and development, and to be able to become connected and find out about the God that we love. So this Early Learning Centre is open to the entire community. It's not a Christian only kind of situation. It's open to the entire community. And we're really looking forward to getting it underway. Every time we do something big, Steve, the enemy tries to get in the way. And right now, we just ask for you to be praying, because there's some technical issues that have to be worked out, even this week, to finalise the details of the contracts and so on that are involved in making this all come together. So be praying. God has the victory. But this is a spiritual battle that we're in. We're talking about building a building, but it's for an incredibly important spiritual purpose. And the enemy never wants us to win when it comes to reaching people for Jesus. So let's be praying about that. We're completely confident that God has a way through these things. We're praying for, and join us as we pray for, a speedy result on those contract finalisations around all the legal issues, and then we'll be ready to go, press the button, and the building team will arrive on site. So we're looking forward to that.
That's our early learning centre, and of course that's on the other side of our current children's playground in that area there. And by the way, if you are here next Sunday, we'd love to take you for a tour of that, just a bit of a walking tour of that and the multi-purpose centre, which we're about to get to in a moment, a few other little things there. That's next Sunday after the morning service. We just got a few things just to confirm before we get the sign-off for that. Even the dance school, we'd love to take you to the dance school there and show you all that. But Andrew, let's go to the multi-purpose centre. Thank you for that. Multi-purpose centre, some people will know what that is, and some people won't, in fact. And so what's the multi-purpose and whereabouts is it?
Okay, so let's start with where it is. That's probably a bit easier. When you go out through the northern end of this part of the building and out into our open courtyard, playground is on the right. The new playground's going to be on the right, just on the other side of the existing playground, and then the early learning centre on the right. On the left, just on the other side of the courtyard, right there, is a facility that is relatively underused at the moment. And that's going to be opened up. It has a space in there that's actually bigger than this auditorium that we're sitting in right now. And the plan is to polish the concrete floor, build 2 large meeting rooms, something around the size of rooms 8 and 7, which if you've been in our facility before, you'll know they're quite large meeting rooms, and a foyer area. And this is because there's a real need for us to have a big run-around space for our youth and meeting rooms for that. So that's going to be one of the main purposes of this facility and the development. But the other thing is that our conference centre has been working with different people around Tasmania, and we're realising that here in Launceston we miss out on a lot of opportunity for the community because there's no really good trade display area for conferences that need to have trade displays. And this is the sort of thing that you kind of only use half a dozen times a year, and so it's an expensive thing to build if it's solely for that purpose. We came up with the idea of using the same space for our youth ministry, but being able to design it so that it could double as a trade display area. And so Tourism Tasmania came on board, and other people have come on board. The federal government assisted us with a federal government grant to help develop this area, and we're going to have Northern Tasmania's trade display area out there so that we can attract to Launceston these kinds of conferences, which helps to stimulate business and encourage people in our community and provide jobs which are badly needed in our community. So fantastic way of using our building to bless the community and to support our youth. In addition to that, we are hoping to see some of this space used at certain times of the year and certain, particularly with holiday programs, to provide support for disabled people who might need a big space inside where they can move around and be able to do different activities supported by their caseworkers. And so there's some work that we've been doing with Glenhaven, and there's an opportunity potentially for a holiday program to emerge in the next year or two that would use that space. So fantastic opportunity to develop another part of our building to bless the community, and it's being funded basically dollar for dollar by the federal government. So we're raising half the money, federal government are raising the other half, and we're making the space available. So very excited about that. We just started. We bought a whole pile of windows to go in those big blank walls, and they've been placed on order, and we expect the builder to move on site once those windows arrive and start cutting holes in those walls and installing the windows and getting the concrete polished and all that. So that'll be happening in the next several weeks.
Anyone excited? Yeah? Good. This is good. We just like to sense the feel of the room, because when you employ leaders, you can't stop us, all right? When you employ, well, we call it a ministry team. We're a ministry team, and they're incredible people, with incredible minds, who continue to move our vision and our mission forward. And so when you employ leaders, you can't stop us, all right? And so you've got to keep us, we've got to keep together, don't we? But so that's the Early Learning Centre. That's the multi-purpose centre. Are we following? The third thing update this morning is the roof. All right? Yeah. So the roof, how are we going? In fact, it's our largest project yet in the history of our church. Andrew, the roof, where are we at?
We're about 85% completed on putting this new roof on the building. It's amazing. I haven't got all the numbers to hand in my mind because Fenton keeps on updating them, and he's away on holiday, I think, at the moment. But it's very exciting. I went up in the tower last week and looked out over this roof, and it's all shiny. It looks pretty good. So we're very excited about that. The team's continuing to work hard. We're very grateful for Fenton and Peter. Peter's sitting over here, who have been working incredibly hard to make sure that this project comes off. We're so grateful for our contractors who have been working hard as well. So that's making steady progress. We're grateful for the rain, for our farmers and for our land. But boy, the rain can cause us some problems when it comes to taking an old roof off and putting a new roof on. And we just value your prayers that we can get, we need some sets of 3 sunny days over these next few months. So just pray that the Lord might be able to engineer things for us so that we can still get the rain all our farmers need, but have some sets. I feel like a surfer talking about sets of waves, but we need sets of 3 sunny days over these next many weeks to get this project completed. So you could be praying about that. We're very excited about it. The other part of it, Steve, is that it's not just a roof upgrade. It's actually a roof and fire services upgrade. So effectively, when we get done with this, the whole building, even though it's an old walls and floor and so on, an older shell, will have a brand new roof and fire services that will set us up for many years ahead. So we've upgraded the existing sprinkler system throughout the building to modern standards so that it meets all of the compliance standards for a brand new building that had a sprinkler system in it. And we're putting in a smoke detection system throughout the building and what's called an early warning system, which is like a PA system where in emergency situations, instructions can be given to people over the PA system. Now, this is quite an exercise when you're dealing with a building as big as ours and you're retrofitting it. Modern buildings that are built, well, they don't build many modern buildings this big, but when they do, they build these things into the building. We have to add it later. And so we'd be asking that you pray over this matter as well, because this particular job, the design has been finalised and it's going to tender in the next week or two. And we've set aside a big chunk of our re-roofing and fire services budget to pay for this, but we don't actually know what the cost is going to be yet. And we're really praying that it's going to come in on or under budget. So you could be joining us in those prayers as we wait to see the tenders come in for that project. But it's going to be exciting, and we expect to wrap this project up in around about March next year. So keep you posted on that one. But already we're seeing interest expressed, Steve, from different people around Tasmania who are looking at the opportunity of perhaps relocating their business or their activity here to Door of Hope with our newly roofed building that will allow us to have contact with even more people in our community as more and more people start to use the building with its redevelopment. So,
just a quick one about the roof. I'm fascinated because here I am walking around sometimes, it's raining and the roof has been replaced and all of a sudden there are leaks, Andrew. Explain the leak thing, please.
Sure. So when you build something this big, we're talking in excess of 19,000 square metres of roof. That's a big roof with multiple gutters and multiple glass and windows that's been replaced and so on. Our teams do a fantastic job. In fact, we've had very few leaks compared to what you would have expected on a project this size. But as soon as we find them, the guys are up there getting them sorted out.
They come back, don't they? And they've got to
Oh
tighten
yeah,
a few.
There might be some screws that need tightening, or some extra sealant that needs to be put in, or something that needs to be adjusted. And of course, weather patterns affect that too. You might think that it's all perfect, and then one day we get a really big southerly blow that we don't usually get, and we find that there's a little leak that we hadn't discovered on the other rainstorm. So we have to go back and sort that out. So that's just part of the job, Steve. That's quite normal. Yep.
All right, now with these couple of large projects that are coming our way in the next 6 months, there's going to be a lot more people coming through our facility. That's the dream. That's the dream, that we want to connect with our community, that the church and the community connecting with each other, God's transformation, etc., as explained. But Andrew, many people would sit here and would know, just like you and I already know and anticipate, that when you develop a space, there are council approvals and there are car parking. There is car parking. We only have so much, and by the way, there's quite a bit, by the way, but certainly not enough to keep us moving in this vision and mission forward. Please bring us an update in regards to car park.
I like to be a little bit cheeky about this, because we're so blessed to actually have secured a piece of land just across from our main auditorium, between the main auditorium and the highway, and this was Crown land, and the Crown very graciously agreed to sell it to us. But I'm a little bit cheeky sometimes, and I say that the Queen doesn't really like letting go of her land, and it actually took us well over 2 years to secure all the legal agreements to actually purchase the land. But the land has been purchased and we now own it, and we're very grateful for all the lawyers and the government team at Crown Law and so on who have helped us through this whole process. At the moment, I think it's still sitting in the titles office waiting for the final signature and documentation to be available, but it is ours, and we're grateful that that process has concluded, other than signatures on paper. So that's the land, and we were very grateful to the Launceston City Council, Steve, who actually gave us an extension because of the length of time it took to negotiate this land. We got a 2-year extension on the development application, which means we have to start work on the project by August of 2021. So we're now in the zone where we're actually moving ahead with getting building approval. So there are civil engineers and hydraulics engineers and so on looking at the way the car park's going to be designed and getting all the final details in place ready for building approval, so that we can then go to tender and get started on that. And that project will deliver us another 100 to 107 car parks.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, so that's just over the road here, and we'll keep bringing you up to speed with that when we know things ourselves.